Well, political commentator Josie Pagani joins me now. Well, Josie, the people have spoken and they want tax cuts. Tax relief seems to be firmly on the political agenda for next year, doesn't it?
It's interesting because this parallels with polling that we're seeing overseas as well. So YouGov polling in about 11 countries have shown for the first time ever in a YouGov poll that voters overwhelmingly, same sort of figures, 80%, support a tax switch. So by that they mean, well, look, if you can take the burden off me a bit, if you can lower prices and tax the rich a bit more or tax wealth a bit more, I'll support that. So that's interesting, isn't it? Because 5 years ago in New Zealand, capital gains tax, Labor have said absolutely no, we won't do it, we won't do wealth taxes. Well, that was 5 years ago and a lot's happened. So voters have really changed. They're going, do something big. This is not going to be enough, just a little payout here, a little payout there.
Yeah, that sort of incremental stuff that we've already seen. We have seen a pretty dire poll for the Prime Minister yesterday, Josie, too. Is the cost of living crisis beginning to bite her and Labor politically?
Oh, absolutely. And they had to do something at conference. And to be fair, they did. They've come up with a policy that helps, probably the best way to put money in the pockets of people as parents is to, help them out with childcare. So, they have done something that is going to help people. And it is a systemic change. It's not just a one-off change. And incidentally, it's interesting, isn't it, that it tells you what a knee-jerk response the COVID payment was in the budget, where it was, just scattergun. It was obviously, thought up 48 hours for the budget. Here, they put a bit more consideration into it. The problem with it is that it's timid. Now, that's politically quite good because it traps National. National can't go, high spending Labor Party, look at them, they're trying to spend your money, they're the high spending party. But the problem with it is that it's timid. And what the poll just shows you, this Newshub poll, that voters are going, come up with some big ideas, a tax-free 10,000, 20,000, the first 20,000 tax-free, come up with something that is going to take the burden off me. We have a huge burden in New Zealand of tax on wage earners. We're quite rare in that case. We're at the bottom of the OECD for the burden that wage earners pay in tax.
Yeah, and it feels like people are really feeling that at the moment with this heightened cost of living. Another thing that stood out to me, Josie, with the poll is that National and Christopher Luxon aren't yet taking flight. Voters are looking around. They are looking away from Labor, but we haven't seen a correlation in this, a spike in Christopher Luxon's preferred Prime Minister ratings or in the party yet.
Yeah, so you've seen a big 6-point dive for Labor, which is really, awful for them and will worry them. But you haven't seen the same rise for National. So you're right, they're kind of plateaued at about 40. Now, they're going to be pleased with that poll. It's about 40% versus, I think it's about 32 or something for Labor. Yeah. But the problem is it feels like they're benefiting from Labor losing it rather than National winning it. And it's a classic mistake that oppositions make. Even in the UK, you look at Keir Starmer, stratospheric polling of, up to 50% when Liz Truss was in. So they know they've got to go out and they've really got to make the sale. So I think the same here is for Luxon. If you want to keep those high polling for National, you've got to come up with something that's really going to talk to the issues. What you've seen in this poll, cost of living, people want big changes. They don't want business as usual. So National have to come up with some fresh ideas.
Yeah, there is such a long way to go yet. Thank you so much for your insight and your analysis, as always, Josie Pagani.